Hey guys, I'm going to show you how you can create and deploy a new MCP server using ModelFetch and Azure Functions. If you go to modelfetch.com and scroll down to the bottom, you will see the Quick Start COI. Copy it and paste it into your terminal. I'm going to call it my MCP server. In this video, I'm going to go with the Azure Functions, but you can choose any other runtime that you like. Let's go with TypeScript and NPM. Yes. So this gonna scaffold a new MCP server using ModelFetch and make it compatible to deploy to Azure Functions. Okay, it's done. Now I'm gonna go into the server, and then I'm gonna run npm start to start the server locally. Under the hood, it is using the Azure Function Core Tools, so you need to have Azure Function Core Tools CLI installed. Okay, started. And then this is the URL of the MCP server, which you can use in any AI clients that support MCP. In this video, I'm going to use the MCP inspector, but you can use any other AI clients that support MCP. So this transport will be streamable HTTP, and the URL will be the server URL and /MCP. Connect. So now we're connected to the default scaffolded project, would include some example resources, some example prompts, and some example tools that we can call here. Okay, it's working. Now let's look at the code to see how it works. So it's a very simple MCP server built with the official MCP TypeScript SDK, which means there are no new API for you to learn when using ModelFetch. And if you already have an MCP server, you don't need to rewrite it. You just connect it to the ModelFetch runtime. Here, you import your MCP server, and then you connect it to the ModelFetch Azure Functions runtime. If you want to change to another runtime, just install the ModelFetch bucket for that runtime and then change it here. And that's pretty much about it for localhost. But now your server is running on localhost, which means that only you can access and other user cannot access it. So to make it possible for everyone to use it, we need to deploy it. So to deploy the server with Azure, there are a lot of ways you can do it. You can use the Azure CLI, or you can use the Azure Developer CLI, which is an infrastructure tool to deploy to Azure. But you can also use the Azure VS Code extension to make it easy to deploy. So for example, here, I already have the extension installed, so I can create a function app in Azure. So before being able to deploy the function, I will need to first create a function app in Azure and then deploy to that function app. Okay, here I need to enter a unique name for my function. So this is globally unique. So you need something that very unique. For example, this is my username and then MCP server. And then I need to choose a location. Let's go with US. And then I'll choose the Node.js 22 runtime for the latest Node.js version, and manage identity to authenticate with Azure to deploy to my Azure account. And now it's gonna go ahead and create all the necessary resources to run the Azure Function app. Okay, it's done. Now we have a function app live. The next thing we need to do is to deploy this function to the function app. So I'm gonna go ahead and select deploy to function app, and this gonna the extension experience is a little bit bad here. It doesn't really show that it's doing anything, but actually it is loading the function app that we can select. Okay, here we have the function app that we created earlier. So I'm gonna select this, and then it's gonna do some of the extension magic. Okay, it's finished loading, and now it's asking me to confirm that I want to deploy to this function app. Again, it's gonna probably take a while on your computer, and it seems like nothing happened because the extension experience is pretty bad. But just be patient and wait for a little bit. You'll see this confirmation, and then I'll click deploy. So this is gonna go ahead and deploy this function to the function app. So here is packaging the function and then deploying it to Azure Functions. Okay, it's finished deploying, and we can click on view output here to see the function URL. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL, only the host part and not the path. Okay, now we have the MCP server URL that we can use in any AI client that support MCP. So again, I'm going to use the MCP inspector. The transport is still streamable HTTP, and the URL will be what we just copy and /MCP connect. So it's gonna connect it. Okay, so you can see that on the tools and prompts and resources are the same. We can also run the tools like earlier. Yes, that's pretty much about it. And if you want to delete this Azure function or this MCP server for some reason, maybe you're just testing out ModelFetch, or maybe you just don't need your MCP server anymore, you can do that quite easily as well. I'm gonna go back to the editor, and then I'm gonna run open in Portal, and then I'm gonna open the function app that we created earlier in the Azure UI, and then we will go ahead and delete the resource group. Okay, again, it's taking a while. Now I'm gonna select the function app, and then select the function app that we created, and it's gonna open the whole thing in the Azure UI, which you will need to log in into it. And here we'll see the function app. We'll see the resource group that it is associated with. We're gonna click on this resource group, and what we need to do is to just delete this resource group. It will delete on the resources associated with this group or the MCP server. So I'm going to go ahead here and then delete. Yes, so it's done. Now I don't need to worry that there are unused resources in my Azure account. That's pretty much about it. Let me know what you think.